My name is Veronica Bratcher, and I am the clinical director at the Wildflower Mountain Ranch. I am a independently licensed clinical mental health therapist, and we created this home, this ranch, this vision for young girls aged 10 to 14 who are struggling at home, where going to therapy on a weekly basis isn't enough, where going maybe to the hospital over the weekend isn't enough. They have tried often everything available to them at their age, and the girls are still struggling and the families are still hurting.
So what are the ages that
Our program specifically targets what they call the latency age period, which is ages 10 to 14. We chose this group, we chose this area because while kids struggle at all ages, most of the current residential programs are aimed at teenage girls and boys, and we wanted to take the clock back a little bit. We wanted to save families some time, we wanted to save kids some time, we wanted to decrease some of the long-term repercussions and risks that come when teenagers are struggling, and hopefully avoid some of those hurdles by starting sooner. So our trifecta has 3 points: identity, connection, and direction. Identity is really developing and questioning who you are, not just what happened to you, but what brought you here and who you want to be. Identity is also important when it comes to connection, because then it's how do we trust people? Who do we trust? And what does it look like to work with other people so that we can get our needs met? One of the things that is a critical part of our program is that our program was created by moms. We are here because we have had children in the same place your daughter is right now. And we remember feeling lost, overwhelmed, exhausted, even broken, and going, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to fix this. And we wanted help. And in our different searches, we found different kinds of help, and we didn't find the help that we ultimately would have chosen if we would have had the option to choose that for our daughters. Our program is about the whole family, because long after treatment is done, kids are going to go home. We want the kids to go home, and we need to support the parents or whatever family member is caring for them, because the girls are going to need this long after they're grown. Our long-term vision, we call it the sisterhood. It is the idea that we have adult women as well as graduates from the program as we come through, and our girls as they go through. We are a lifelong connection. If there are resources, if you graduated the program 5 years from now, call us. What are the resources we can put in place? What are the referrals we can put in place? You don't just disappear when you leave our doors. We are there permanently for the girls and for their families, because we know this isn't a 20-minute fix. Mental illness covers so many different things. It covers how we view ourselves, how we see ourselves, and how we see the world, and that affects our relationship with others. Imagine we had glasses that were painted over black, and it changed how we see. It would change how we act, it would change how we walk, it would change how we talk. That's what mental illness does. It changes what we see and how we see it. And our goal, through a heavy therapeutic component as well as support, is to do a lot of education about mental illness for the girls, for their families, so that we can know what's going on, how we address it now, as well as having ideas and resources of how we manage this for the rest of our lives. People change faster on a one-to-one level. The larger we get a group, the larger we get a community, the slower the change. When we are specifically talking with children, children thrive with more focused attention because they need to feel heard, understood, and believed. And you can't do that in a group of 500 kids or even 30 kids. But our focus in staying small with the ranch is to help girls feel they are seen. Different activities that we have as far as identity grows, we have individual therapy work that will be done on a weekly basis, as well as group therapy work. There are group activities for the girls, from learning some basic living skills, as well as how to play, how to have fun, how to trust, learning different things to figure out what are they interested in, whether they're good at it or not, being able to try different things and figure out that the fun component that still should exist, whether we are 6 or 60, is still a part of who we are, and figuring out how to build that into what our future looks like.
So this is not a work ranch.
This is not a work ranch. We are not here to teach kids how to run a working ranch so that they have really great self-discipline and can go on and take care of animals full time. The ranch element of our program is incredibly therapeutic. It is all about relationships. And the animals that we will have at the ranch, it is all about our relationship and connection in the ranch, and learning how to respect others, and learning how the animals respond to us, and what does that mean about what we're doing, as opposed to more of a chore or work-based ranch. It's all about relationships. One of the biggest reasons why we are different is because our desire is about helping the person, the girl, and the family. Because it's not about numbers for us. You will have my phone number. You will probably have our business manager's phone number and our office manager's phone number. You will be able to reach any one of us as a person at any time, because as a mom, that's what I want. And as a mom, that's what I want to give you. I want the girls to feel very genuine that we care, and that they don't have to be a certain way in order for us to care. They don't have to conform to the idea that they're only okay if they match what somebody else thinks they're supposed to be. We want them to be who they are, but we want them to be safe, and we want them to know and find out that this exists in the same place. It's amazing. It's magical when you see the light bulbs in kids' eyes go off, and in it's usually tears, and the tears in parents that go, oh, it's like that breath of relief of, you get it. And it doesn't always have to be this way.
Maybe a mom just can't reach their child.
There is a difference. When you are a mom, and I say this as a mom, as a licensed therapist and a mom, I cannot be that only person that gets into my own kids, because I am their mom first, just like you are their mom first. And within the context of the relationship, kids can sometimes, as much as they see mom as the person that is there to take care of them, for some kids, moms can also be scary because they're afraid that if they are exactly who they are, that mom will leave. And so when they work with somebody else in a residential center or in an outpatient center, this is somebody that I can show my ugly, scared, terrified side to. And if they leave, it's okay, because I still have my mom. So we are that person who's that support, that they still get to have their mom or their dad or their grandma or whoever is loving them, but they get to be a little brave. The ranch is very much set up in a family style setting. We don't want it to feel like a hospital. We don't want it to feel like a group home. We want this to be a second home, because when our girls graduate, we want them to go home. We don't want them to go to a hospital. We don't want them to go to another big institutional organization where they're just one of many. We want them to be one person, and we treat them in a home because we want them to use those skills when they go home. Research and personal experience has shown the incredible capacity that animals have for connections with human beings, because sometimes for certain kids and adults, human beings just don't feel safe. And animals are often our very first connection of how can I be safe? How can I be vulnerable? And one of the things that is amazing about animals is there's no judgment and there's no words. And sometimes for the pain people are feeling, we don't have words for it. And to be able to not feel that there's an expectation that we say the right thing, or we don't say something that offends the cat or the cow, that it's a way to just exist. It's almost like there's an energy that we just get to exist, and we accept each other as we are, and we don't have to prove anything to anybody. I started out as a social worker when I was early 20s, maybe 21, working with kids in the foster care system and kids that had been abused and neglected. And I've worked with people in that population for the last almost 20 years.
The moose.
So this ranch really is your brainchild. What brought it about? What brought you to this point that you needed to make this happen?
Well, I reached out to Veronica because I could see she was a very special person and therapist. And if I could have picked anybody for my daughter, I would have loved to have known about Veronica when she was really needing a person to connect with, because there was just so much rejection with her behaviors.
With your daughter's behaviors?
Yeah. I adopted Brianna when she was just a little baby. Her mom was homeless and schizophrenic, so there were strong indicators that she would grow up with some mental health things. And they did start to surface at the age of 10, and I was lost. And I loved her so much, but I needed help, and I couldn't find it in neighbors or people around me. No one knew. She was just a precocious, amazing little kid, but she was up and down and up and down, and the highs got higher and the lows got lower, and I knew nothing, and I needed a whole staff, it felt like. So now she's 18, and we went through several programs, and some of them were a little damaging at times. And I just really saw the need for a real program that was not about numbers or heads in beds. It was specific to that child. And when we visited some of these ranches and places, just fell in love with all of the girls there. And I could see that they were struggling with the environment they were in, plus the mental illness that they were dealing with, whether it be depression, anxiety, ADHD, or a comorbidity of all of these things. And then trauma and abuse that they came from. So I knew we needed a very, very special place. And the only way to find it was to build it, make it happen, and contact the best people. And Veronica is really one of those people that I saw online and just knew that she had so much life experience and has dedicated her life, her family life, and she's the real deal. And I just wanted to meet her, and I did, and she's wonderful, and we're just on this lifelong journey at this point to help as many girls as we can, but one by one. The first place wouldn't let me talk to her for the first 6 months, which I thought was bananas. Oh no, it's true. I didn't know it was coming. And once she was there, then it was explained that we wouldn't talk to her for 6 months, and she was 12. And she had to earn everything, which we were okay with. We respected the program. We believed in them. We trusted them. But we couldn't, when you can't talk to a 12-year-old, That was the hardest 6 months. I wondered if I was doing the right thing for her or not. Didn't want her to feel abandoned. And then it was her 13th birthday while she was at the ranch, and we were not allowed to see her because she had done something. And a privilege to see your parents was taken away. And I just didn't think that talking to your mom was a privilege, or getting support from your family should be earned. It's just a given. If you have family that wants to talk to the child, then that's a good thing. So there were just a lot of rules, and it seemed very detentional, and she hadn't been exposed to the severity of it. So I think discipline is a good thing, and structure, but punishments were just unfair. I mean, I think from this point forward, we're really anxious to reach out to the best people out there. Invite them, come talk to the girls. 10 heads are better than one. There's a clinical program and curriculum in place, and I don't know, my job is to just make sure that everybody has the things that they need to keep things running.
My name is Brianne Kilgrow. I am the operations director here at Wildflower Ranch. Wildflowers a lot of the times are seen as weeds and can easily be plucked out and cast aside, but really when you look at a wildflower, they have many uses. They have their own beauty. They are necessary to our society, and I feel like we chose this name because a lot of the times these girls can be seen as the same, that they might be a weed that needs to either be plucked out or learn to conform to society. But what we want to teach these girls is that they are beautiful as they are loved as they are, and they have their own unique talents, beauty, divine nature, worth that they have to give to the world. When girls come here, we want them to know who they are. We want them to have their own identity and to love themselves. We're all a little bit wild and crazy, and in my opinion, that's what makes us fun. We don't want to be the normal people stuck in society, I guess you could say. We want to be those unique individuals. So we chose Eden, Utah because one, there are so many things to do here, and two, it is beautiful here. It truly is a home away from home, a place that you can learn to thrive and truly be adventurous and find out who you are and who you want to be. We love Eden because in the winter you can go skiing, snowboarding, and all of those fun things that you'd like to do in the winter. And in the summer we have Pine View Reservoir, which is really close to us, and we go do anything from canoeing to kayaking to boating. If girls are brave, wave runners and jet skis. We chose to have this beautiful cabin out in the mountains to get the girls away from the world. I mean, you guys watch the news a lot, or even not watching the news, just being on Facebook or social media platforms, you can see what hard things there are in this world. And really, we just want to take the girls away from that to their own little oasis where, without all of the worldly distractions that can sometimes not help mental health at all, we want to take them away from that so that they can, again, find who they truly are, understand what they are going through, whether understanding their diagnoses, what therapies they may need, and again, long-term coping mechanisms that they will have forever. We chose the name Wildflower, again, because they are unique and beautiful, and there are actually so many wildflowers, and that nature specifically here in Eden, and so we felt like it was very fitting for that. But also part of our program is, Veronica touched on earlier, our sisterhood that we have here. And we definitely want the girls to feel that once a wildflower, always a wildflower. And you're always welcome back here. And there will be many aspects and forms and ways for the girls to continue that sisterhood and to stay together, because you really will need each other. You will need that village around you to support you for your entire life. You'll never not need it, and we'll always be here. If after watching these videos and something has resonated with you, we would love for you to contact us. You can contact us by our links on our websites. We'll have our numbers posted. We're always reachable.